that I
Are
have
you
with the
saying it's like a identity thing? Like there's not like a cultural identity in football?
I think there's not a culture of development. And I
Mm-hmm.
look this, for example, the club that I have here, Toronto FC. Toronto FC has their academy 100 meters from the hangar,
Mm-hmm.
the PMO Academy. I never saw, never, never saw a scout from Toronto FC. Some days ago, I heard a coach on the soccer coaches summit that happened on the United States. I heard the coach saying that they only start. It's a team from the Major League Soccer. They only start their scouting with 17 years old.
Wow.
And I was listening to this, and I thought, okay, you are only 10 years late from what we do in Portugal.
Yeah.
Um, and the thing, what makes me more sad, I think the right word is sad, is BMO has the hangar 100 meters away, 5 minutes walking. The scouts don't live at the academy, of course, but it's not because of the distance, please. And a guy or two guys that were at the hangar for one morning, they would be able to see what 500 kids.
Yeah.
And then when it's time tryouts. Oh, come to us, pay to tryouts, and come show up to tryouts. This doesn't make any sense.
Man.
How do you want? How do you
Yeah.
want to have the best? Do you want to work with the best? I tell this with no problems. I have better players than Toronto FC. I
Mm-hmm.
have better players than Toronto FC. Toronto FC does not have the best players.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they don't work towards that. There's no academy. There's not 3 years old to 5 years old to 7 years old to 9 years old. There's no path. They don't have a path. Oh, they come to the academy with 13 or with 14 years old. It's late. They need to learn things before. Things.
Yeah.
And when I say it's late, it's only because of one thing. If we can have better coaches teaching better players, they will become better.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only thing. If we are able to join, because I am a technical director, I spent lots of my games. So the coaches are on the other side with the team on the benches, of course, and I am normally on the on the on the fans side. Let's say it like this. And I watch a lot of players. I even have a list. Number 7 of this club, number 6 of this club. And I was able, from my list, I was able to do a very good team on 4 ages, from U10s to U14s.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, until when we will want to go after the United States, because that's what we are doing. We are going after them. We
Mm-hmm.
follow them everywhere. And until when we are going to look at soccer as the business that soccer is? Because the thing is,
Man, you're hitting it on the nail. Everything you're saying, it's like oh my gosh. You are so spot on in everything you've just said for the past couple
that's the thing for
minutes.
me is the I can't it's important. We will never be, because we want to follow the same things. That I can talk this openly because I'm European. I work for an European club. That is, we are so many years in front of what is happening here. It's not, for example.
But the problem is it's not it's we how many times has Ontario soccer or Canada soccer come to you, who's within our borders in the capital of Ontario, the biggest club in Canada? You are 2 steps away from them. how many times have they had a conversation with you?
No, no.
They haven't. And you are a person with experience with players that we have not produced and probably will not produce for I don't know how long. But we're not even heading in the direction of Europe. We're heading in a different direction. We're heading in a direction where, look, like you said, there's no scouting. The scouting system is almost non-existent in Canada. It's all referrals, so like connections. Like so, if I live in Waterloo, there's a coach in Waterloo that if he hears about a player, he's gonna call TFC and tell them. But that's not the way it is in Portugal, right? The
No.
scouts, they go to games. There's hundreds of them, and they go throughout the country and they select the players.
Yeah.
And then from there, the other thing, yeah, like you touched on, it's a business first, and you see it now with OPDL. There's the OPDL. There's even Toronto FC. They charge $3, $4, $5,000 a year. They charge for the tryout, then they charge to play. You are eliminating from the start potential players from the start,
Definitely.
and then from there, even if somebody may be able to do that, maybe they don't want to. They don't want to pay $3,000, $4,000, and they don't want to drive. I have a couple players. They play for Toronto FC. They came from my soccer school for the academy, and their parents live in Waterloo, work in Mississauga. They go to Mississauga, come back to Waterloo to pick their kids up, then drive to Downsview to drive their kids to training, wait for them at training, then drive them home. That's a 16-hour day, or maybe even more, and they still have to pay $3,500 per year to develop their kid. Oh man, it's crazy to me.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy for me. It's crazy at the point that you have to pay for your son to be seen. You have to pay for tryouts. For example, that's one of the things when we start doing the tryouts here at Benfica. Man, we had many parents. Oh, and how much is the tryouts? And I was like, sorry, how much is the tryout? No, we don't. Here, you don't need to pay to be seen. Oh, because Toronto FC. That's when I knew. Whoa, you pay to go to the trial? Yeah. Okay, good. It's a business. This is a business. Unfortunately, is too much seen as a business.
But it's a business in Portugal too. But it's
exactly,
it's long-term business though.
That's exactly the thing.
It's not short-term.
You are not looking for the right way of the business.
Yes.
These kids are business. João Felix was a business.
Of course.
Renato was a business. Bernardo was a business.
Of course.
All of these kids were business. These kids are business. When we grab these kids with 9, 10, 11 years old, we give them food, we give them school, we give them school because we pay for their school. They are at the academy. We do everything for them. We teach them everything. We give them everything. We are making a bet on this kid.
Yeah, an investment.
Not all the kids will be soccer players, and we know that. We know that not all the kids will be soccer players. But then we have one that, for example, will pay the next 5 years of academy.
More.
With the money that we did on João Felix, we will have money to pay the academy for some years. And that's the thing. This is the thing. You don't need to create an amazing player every year, but you must have a base where to go. You must know where to go. And for example, I look at Toronto FC, and for me, this should be a team with an academy, a team with a structure, a team that took, because the thing is, it would call from the second, let's just think like this. You bring players from outside, what is their connection with the people here of Toronto? None. When you bring players from here, players that born in Toronto, players that have friends in Toronto, have family in Toronto, how do you think the stadiums will be? Packed.
Mhm.
This is logical. This is logical.
Mhm.
You have players from here, you will have stadiums full of people.
Fans, family, friends. Yeah,
You have
community.
people, if you bring people that nobody knows, okay, one thing is if you know Ibrahimovic, of course, everyone knows.
Everyone, yeah.
But then he was my player, so he's one of my best friends, so I have no problem on talking with him. Andre Horta, when he was playing for LAFC, he was a very good player, but nobody knows him. Nobody knows him. He haven't made nothing. Nobody knows him. That's why he only play here for months. And that's the thing. If you give the people what they want, so on this case, if you give the people their players that born here, players that were made here, players that and I can give many examples. For example, you go ask LeBron what NBA title he loved to win the most, and he will tell you that was with Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah.
Because it's his own team. And that's the thing. You ask any player, what was the title that you like? Ricardo Quaresma. I was listening to him yesterday at the Porto channel. Ricardo Quaresma. He won titles all over the world. He won all over the world. And he says that the ones that he liked the most was with Porto. And that's the thing. If you have players from here, you can have a business just around the players from here. For example, we have the CPL, the Canadian Premier League.